It was just like very violent and just awful.
The heartache from just one of the devastated pet owners we featured back in November. Now, new families are coming forward saying their pets also suffered after seeking treatment and care at Companion Pet Clinic in Gresham. So let's bring in Todd. And Todd, I know more people are reaching out to you about this.
Indeed they are, Liz. Here's a look at even more Oregon State Vet Board complaints, all pointing the finger at Companion, and some going after the primary vet, Dr. Daniel Kohler. Since our first report a few months ago, we've seen almost weekly protests outside the clinic, and tonight we're learning of more possible action by the state.
I've always loved cats.
Jill Domine doesn't care if you call her a cat lady. She is one. Little fur balls like Indigo, always a fixture in her life.
He was 5 years old. It was just a routine neuter. Drop him off.
It's why she still can't escape what happened in 2024 when she says she visited Companion Pet Clinic to get him fixed.
I could drop him off on my way to work. It was right on my way on the street I go to work, and I could pick him up on my way home. It was just easy.
Only she says when she picked up Indigo, something wasn't right.
But he was off. Like, I know this cat. He was 5. He was my baby, you know, and he was just off. Something was off.
He wouldn't eat, drink, and was barely alert. A couple days later, she rushed him to an emergency clinic.
They took one look at him and they said, "You're in trouble. He's in big trouble. His kidneys had shut down."
The cat was eventually put down. The family was devastated but pushed forward, not exactly sure what had happened. Then last year, Jill needed to get her office cat fixed. She decided to give Companion another try and dropped off Mama one October morning.
Finally, I called several hours later and they told me that she had died. She died on the table. It's all a blur. It's just a blur. I was just devastated. I couldn't believe this happened again. I've only taken 2 pets to Companion Pet Clinic in Gresham, and both pets have died.
And Jill showed us her paperwork, and she filed a complaint with the Oregon Veterinary Medical Examining Board, which still has an open investigation.
I took her everywhere. She was my best friend, for sure.
Tim Morrell also filed a vet board complaint. He reached out to Coin 6 after watching our first investigation because he says 3 years ago he took his pup Roddy to see Dr. Kohler for a spade, only to have her mysteriously pass away a few days later.
I get her home and she seemed like she was just lazy and a little slow, and I just figured, because of the operation, pretty much died out front, sitting on the sidewalk with me waiting.
Drive by the Gresham Clinic most weekends these days, and you'll find a dedicated core of protesters. The demonstrations began after our first report, but the scrutiny on the clinic and Dr. Kohler is nothing new. We covered the criminal case against him more than 6 years ago when he was accused of felony animal abuse. The case was eventually dropped against the objections of prosecutors when an outside civil compromise was reached. Then there's Kohler's long list of vet board infractions, including a 7-year license suspension and revocation.
No justice for the animals harmed by Daniel Kohler.
Despite that notice, Oregon communities have continued to bear the risk.
These puppies came back with infections. These puppies came back sick, bleeding and hemorrhaging.
At the vet board's virtual meeting earlier this month, speaker after speaker sounded off on Kohler during public comment.
Investigate these complaints wholly and thoroughly.
The board's executive director responded with some brief comments, and Coin 6 did obtain this discipline document from the meeting, which recommends Kohler face multiple fines for failures tied to dental work he did involving a dog in 2023. Previously, the agency told us the vet board, quote, reviews every complaint and subsequent case very carefully. The agency is very limited in what can be disclosed related to all investigative cases because of state statute. We do know there are additional active investigations involving Kohler. He refused to speak with us in November, and this time around didn't reply to emails or calls.
Something is totally amiss with the system, so something has gone totally wrong.
Meanwhile, former patients are pressing for more answers and say they won't quit until they see action. And Kohler will have the opportunity for a hearing regarding those latest fines. We should point out there are also 2 other vet associates who occasionally work at the clinic. You might remember back in November, we discussed a growing Facebook group focusing on all of this. And now it's more than 2,000 members, and there's also a new website, companionsforjustice.com, launched by other advocates trying to raise awareness. Liz.
All right, Todd, and I know you'll stay on top of that. Just heartbreaking stories from those pet owners. Well, now to an exhibit in Salem, which is putting front and center the cases too often forgotten of missing and murdered indigenous
So that's exactly what I was hoping it would be.
Amanda Freeman is the
Wait, how do I get out?
Oh my god.